For us, it was pretty good. It sounds very cool. It's like the size that we would love to play in the future, you know, like this kind of small stadium.
This is the ideal size.
Very ideal for us, yeah.
It's a soccer stadium, and these guys actually won the trophy for the first league few days ago.
Oh, really?
So it's a very special people of Prague. I saw your lovely burn model over there.
Yeah.
I got a gentleman here who probably brought an LTD to sign it once again. Hopefully we can arrange something.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to ask you to compare these sort of the incredible models that you have created. As the burn model is
between
RZK.
RZK 1 and RZK 2.
Yes, and also if you can compare the LTD RZK 600.
I have no clue. To be honest, I really don't know.
Oh, that one?
No.
You were not involved in that?
No, not at all. Yeah, so I was
Even though they included RZK.
Well, the thing is, like, I mean, now things are changing anyway, like right now I'm starting to create my own brand RZK by E2.
Okay.
Which, it's like I'm very not happy about the development, what ESP did, and it just like took my signature model and, priced it double the price. Now we pay like 6,000 or 7,000, which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So there I changed the whole policy, as you know. I don't know if you know.
Yeah. So I've realized it's incredible, especially the fans are crying online.
Yeah.
I cannot bloody afford it. I
No,
love
no.
Richard. We don't love Richard, but
it's not. Yeah, I totally get it. But from the very day beginning, like the RZK 1, obviously the shape is very different. Based on I forget the name on what's it called what's the shape of the I was forgetting it. Whatever. My whole time when I was thinking about signature guitar, I was thinking about a burnt guitar. From the very day one, I was coming up with ideas and solutions, which I failed a lot of times. So, before I was talking to ESP and told them what I want to do, and they couldn't really realize that, obviously also because I think, if you do like a burnt guitar and it should like look real, you fail and you have to try and error. So, and it never worked. And I worked like with a graphic designer for a year on this, on a form, basically on a graphic form to try that. And we worked very hard, and after 1.5 years we were finished. I was quite happy with the way it looked, and we put it on a guitar. And then I realized, it's not for me. It's like very fake. So I threw it away again, And then I talked to my guitar tech. He used to work for Sunback, like the German company that does bass. And he said, like, let me give it a try, and I explained what I want to do. And basically what they did, they really did it in handwork to basically put like layer of papers, burned them, glued another layer, and it was like it's a process which is very, very time consuming. After they did it, I had to kind of navigate their whole communication between, them and ESP Japan, which took a long time, but now they know how we do it. So that's how the whole thing came together. I always use, the Floyd Rose, even I don't use it.
Yeah.
As people know, because for me somehow, I think the way that I play, it gives me a faster response. It's like it's almost like the guitar plays a little faster.
Yeah.
When you have like instead of no Floyd Rose. So I don't really use it as a Floyd Rose. I just need the sound, and I like the sound of it. So I'm like, since like I played ESP, I changed when I played in the beginning the KH2. I played the EMG 81s, 84s. So nothing changed about that. Even though I tried Fishman, they're quite cool too. I have one on my guitar. I'm working right now on a model maybe, but I haven't decided which way I'm gonna go. And I think there's certain kind of classical models, which they're Les Paul form and the body. It becomes like something that you always like to play. I think like the Les Paul is the most sexiest guitar on the planet.
Absolutely.
So there's nothing to say about that. Everyone is copying and yeah, that's what we did too, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
I think that's the major difference. So I use always the RZK1 for some reason in the studio.
Okay.
Like, you know, maybe it's because it was the first one. You know, I'm like very familiar with this guitar, and I have like 3 prototypes that I really love. I'm actually right now talking about a V, ESP V. That I'm like want to try live, just, you know, check it out. It works.
Yeah.
What else to say?
Well, from what I understood, your models they're made of, if I'm not mistaken, by a little bit heavy wood, and I understand you needed stability when you need to play. Is there also, this is a direction that you'll be taking for the new model, having the sort of the heavy wood?
No, we always use the same wood. So, I mean, we don't really change that, but I don't actually know exactly what kind of wood we're taking.
Okay. Any ideas for the future, you know, hopefully in that?
No, I'm always talking to my guitar tech about certain things, you know, and but it's so hard, you know, when you're dealing with a company that's like so far away to just, you know, like, you know, try this wood, try this wood, try this wood. I guess, like, you know, when it comes to the guitar, I'm more like, you know, that try different kind of amps or different kind of EQs, preamps, microphones, whatever, than like working on the guitar, to be honest, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think there's a time for everything, you know. I mean, I used to do that more, also with pickups belongs, and trying different guitars. Somehow I got stuck, you know, and that means also, you know, that I'm quite happy what I have right now, you know.
Long-term loyalty, why not? Yeah.
So.
It's usual people with Les Pauls they go to with Marshalls, but your case is Mesa Boogie. Of course, you tried in the meantime some Black Star over there, tried many brands, but you're a Mesa Boogie guy.
Well, the thing is like that. I think that I don't even know if I'm a Mesa Boogie guy. What I really liked about the first time when I this feeling of the first time I heard the Rectifier was like at their Frankfurt music convention, and I was like, I totally remember that scene where the guy was standing there with it was just only one amp rectifier, and the guy was playing, and I heard it was like, wow, there was something about the rectifier. It's like you're almost like a wild animal that you have to train with the sound, and nobody really has that. Even though they're like in the beginning, there were things that I have to adjust, especially, you know, on the mid frequency, you know, because it's a really raw, a low raw guitar, and sometimes, I mean, they change the EQs with the new models, and but I'm basically, I love this sound, you know, definitely. So, but I'm not a boogie guy, you know. I just like the rectifier sound. I never heard another amp that could deliver the sound.
Absolutely. What about your experiments within the electronics?
Well, the thing is, like, right now, to be honest, like, you know, I'm used to be. I was the guy that, you know, that like for a couple of years ago, I said, like, well, you know, I'm spending so much time in my studio, you know, creating this kind of guitar sounds, you know, like, you know, people know that I'm like, you know, I'm different preamps, different like microphones that I use, and different, I mean, cabinets, speakers, whatever, you know, all this kind of shit. Even like, you know, create my own microphone robot and stuff like that. I'm very intense about this kind of studio work, and I said, like, well, why can't I deliver the sound live? And that's what I did. And everyone hated me, you know, because, like, you know, we had to build first of all, we had to build a huge tent to protect like the microphone, because it's a M149 Neumann, which picks up a lot of fucking noise, you know, and there's like a lot of explosion, a lot of dust going on. So, and I also had like an ISO box that like some Holland guys produced. I mean, the setup that I had was so complicated, you know, and so intense that after a while I was like, you know, I don't think we can do it anymore. So I tried the camper amp like a long time ago, and I wasn't happy. Okay. And then I tried it again, and the result and the pros about using that is more than the cons. So now I'm a camper guy. Okay. Live. Which, you know, which is basically everyone is very happy. You know, the front of house guy is very happy. I create my own profiles. You know, I'm like, you know, we spent like before the tour a week like to go through all my amps and trying, and I do understand there's a certain kind of dimension is missing in the camper. You know, which you don't really hear if you hear it in the studio, but you don't hear it when you play live because it goes through so much processing anyway, and when it comes out of the speaker, you don't really listen, you don't hear it anymore. So my life became, and other lives became so much easier by using the Kemper. Yeah. So, and I'm still very, very close contact to Christoph Kemper, and we talking a lot about what I like, what I don't like, and there's definitely development in there. But it's going to be the future for sure, And I don't see that the amps will die.
Sure.
But playing live, it's so much more pros to using that than actually take the whole shabom with me, on stage. So that's what I do right now, using the Kemper live.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about the future and experimenting, what about you and the latest discoveries regarding Ramfire? Is it still exciting?
Yeah, I was thinking about also you're creating a new amp, and so don't write it.
Don't worry. I respect that.
Yeah. I was thinking to be honest, really, really capture the sound that I have and I would like, there would be only one way, is basically to profile my sound.
Yeah.
But the problem is that Kemper, thinking of doing something together, but it will take another 2 or 3 years because they're coming up with a model. Because I don't want people to copy my sound, but just downloading it. So it has to be protected somehow, because it's my sound, and if they want to have it, they have to pay. I'm very simple, very old school about that. So so this is what I'm thinking. There's other ideas that I have, but it's almost like every time I'm thinking about it and getting in touch with companies, it's Boogie, for example. They're not really into this whole thing. They have 2 signature amps, So I don't know if they would be willing to actually call their an amp a different name. I don't know if they would do that, So, but I'm not pushing it, It's not that I really want to do it. It's just that there would be, if there would be an amp, there would be the sound of the rectifier with all the modification. I think was very important to play live. There's a gate involved. There's the normal MIDI things that I need these days, and there's a certain kind of frequency I would change, and that I always need, because my hearing is getting lost. Maybe that's for the reason. So there are ideas, and I would love, in the end of the day, do something that actually people have the whole profile, because it's not only the amp. Of course, also the playing as well, which is a big percent. But it's the amp and the speaker and the microphone. We're using a certain microphone that nobody really uses in the guitar world, And so I think the best way to do that, to actually create Ramfire, is to profile everything, not just do a one amp. But it can be different tomorrow.
So it's a continuous process. You're still young.
Well,
there is a birthday coming.
I turned 50 this year, so
yeah.
But
few weeks.
There are always ideas, There's always ideas, but it's just I think the digital world that we live in right now. It moves so fast, and I believe in the next 5-10 years, there will be no difference anymore between the digital and the analog world. So
interesting.
Yeah. So it's all about CPU power, and if you have more power, you could actually profile exactly the way that an analog amp will. Maybe it will smell different, maybe it will feel different, but it will sound the same.
I fully agree.
Which is okay with me, I'm I love analog, and there's a certain kind of dimension that is missing, and I totally agree. And I love to have those amps in my studio.
Yeah.
But there's so much more comfort, especially, if you do work in a different studio, just to profile the stuff that you can go back and have it there. It's I think the Kemper is the last biggest revolution, in or profiling in general, in the guitar world, and a lot of amps or amp manufacturers, they're. Okay. They have to suggest. They have to. It's gonna be different.
Yes, sounds promising, interesting. You're having some good time and something to be excited about. Not just writing music, but also investing your time in something you believe in, especially within the gear. Sounds exciting.
Yeah, but also I'm so much also in other studio stuff. Guitars is one thing, but I'm very very involved in studio gear too. So I'm not such not only a guitar nerd.
Of course. Yes. Full package.
A full package, yeah.
Full package.
So.
And does this finally give you a space where you can be fully creative as you wish to make? Well, I'm not going to ask you what music is coming, as all the fans want to know.
You can actually, you do. The thing what I'm trying to say is it's more as I give up. There was a time that I was only interested, or there was times I was interested in all this sound and rooms and whatever belongs to create a certain sound. I was chasing the dragon I could never really capture. And then I had to stop because I wasn't writing anymore, It was just all about the sound, and I had to really give up, and I have to learn to compromise in a way of okay, it sounds like this right now, just leave it there. Yeah. It's better in the end of the day, to have an idea or a song's written than have a sound that you never really catch anyway. So
yes.
It was a very process I had to learn, just let go, and it sounds like that, and it's okay, and maybe we can do better when we go in the studio. So just start to let it flow and start to write something.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, obviously the time has changed, people are nowadays or let me tell that the craftsmanship in studios in general is not really there more because there's no money involved. People, used to be you spend 2 weeks on a snare drum. Now everyone is using every cent they can get, which is also fine. It's not like I'm judging here, but it almost comes down. It it sounds always a little bit the same, and yeah.
Absolutely. It seems you came a long way since you came to Czechoslovakia for the first time, bought your guitar. A long journey since then. I'm glad.
Oh yeah.
Glad to hear that.
It's true. It's ever started here. I would have never thought. I mean, nowadays, I'm thinking about it. I mean, obviously, I was always interested in music, and even as a little boy, I was I remember putting a record on on my parents' turntable, and I would stand in the middle and record my voice on a playing song, and I was like, look, I did. So I was always into performing and singing somehow, And
AC/DC, managing doing that fun.
Yeah.
Did you manage?
How is that?
Did you manage to reach that level?
No.
When you were having fun as a kid,
No. It's that high actually.
No.
Yeah. No, this is one guy I wished I could have seen live. Yeah, he's my favorite Bon Scott.
You never managed to.
No. So. No, I was. I mean, we were 89. I think he died 82, 84 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's he's still
never managed.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Well, for the final question, I managed to gather hundreds of questions from your fans. You got one of the best fans around the world. I managed to, ask all the possible fan groups you have online.
Yeah.
What would be the message for your fans? They were asking for music. They were asking for new music. They were asking if you're aware that you have Giant Girls fan club. They were asking about the messages for them to help their lives because you inspired them to solving their problems. What's the message for the fans?
I think that this is something that everyone should definitely learn for himself to get this idea what their life requires or what their need to learn in life, because we're all here to learn in general. I mean, it's so individual. That means my message or my learning experience doesn't really would mean it will fit to the other person. So there's not such a thing as well, for me, it worked a certain way. It doesn't mean it worked for the other way. Well, in music, I think one thing that really, really, really worked for me was that I was for some reason, you know, in the beginning I was starting to play guitar, I wasn't really good enough to play other people's music.
Mm-hmm.
That like created this very strong will to create my own music. And I think like this is like something very important that you know, there's so many people when I watch like on YouTube, they're technical, unbelievable, you know, but they all sound like someone else, you know. I think to find your own signature, your own way of playing, your own sound, all this stuff, this is like, I think, you know, that has to do with like being authentic and find your tone, you know. This is something that I would look more than like, you know, playing. And I mean, it's always good to learn,
yes,
you know, to see like people, I'm not saying that, but really try to find your own way. I think this is a secret in general, you know, find yourself and stuff. So there's no and there is no global message, you know. The only thing, you know, I can tell you guys what I learned, my biggest lesson in my life, the biggest key moment in my life was that I realized that if you find something in one person, there's also the other side to it. You haven't found it yet, but it's there. That's something that I learned, and with this knowledge, it brings me a lot of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no, you know, there's like always the other side to it. So that's the only thing I can say.
Thank you for that.
All right, cool.
For that. Cheers.
Thank you.
For the show.
Yeah.